So, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the most requested episode of this semester that is where I will review your final projects that no one has uploaded. So, class is over because I was checking your folder that is 3DS Monday 9 to 11. Good morning. And no one has uploaded anything. So that's it. It's too easy. I mean, why? Don't tell me I'm uploading now. I will upload it now because I won't spend 2 hours now in waiting for you to upload. Then I have to download. I mean, where are your files? I said today you have to upload whatever you have made so far so that I could give you a feedback, and then you had 1 week extension, and I clearly said that I will help you till today. Then now, where are your files? Where do we upload the final? Where you have always uploaded your homeworks. I mean, I gave you 1 week extension. I gave you possibility to review your final, and then, I mean, if you have questions, this is the time for questions. So let me know which questions you have. In the meantime, I will open 3ds Max. Okay. Ciao. Good morning. So, just to update who is going to connect today now. So, okay, so in entrance I have steel beams and handrails vertically from floor to ceiling, and I'm placing up lights to light them. But the room is really dark, even if increasing the value. Then I have a question: how to make neon lights? Okay. Yes, you should have sent me the picture, but not now during the class. Send me the picture in the meantime, because good morning. I wanted to make questions and answers now, but if you still have to send me files, send me right now. Hurry up. And then so send me pictures first, then neon light. This is easy. Okay, I have a question also. Just make the question. Don't write I have a question. Just write it. So in the meantime, while we wait some students to send me files, let's see how to make a neon sign. That is very simple. For neon lights, you have, I'm just making a scene, and if for neon light you mean something like exactly neon letters, easier way to do it is this. First of all, you make a text by using text. Into the text you can modify by going to the modify tab, for example, what it is written. Let's say like hello. You can also change the font. Let's try different fonts, or something like handwritten. Let's see if I have it. No. Click in. Let's say this one. Okay. Or you just draw lines as you prefer. It's the same. And then what you have to do is you have to go to rendering. You have to enable in render, enable in viewport like this. Okay, in the meantime, then I will read other questions. So you have to make a 3D text. You have also to click generate mapping cards, because we are going to give a material. And in here, we will choose thickness of the text. And into the font, I will decrease the size because it is too big. Okay. Let's say something like this. Perfect. Then I rotate these and I move it, let's say, close to this wall. That is where I want to simulate that this neon sign has been placed. Okay? What I have to do is this. I have to make a few fixed steps that are. First of all, I have to go to my material editor, so I will press M. And I will create two materials. One for my scene. It can be whatever. I will just quickly make it white. So I will make a white physical material. Roughness 1, because I want it matte. Color white. And I will apply these for now to all these boxes. of course, except for the neon sign. For the neon sign, I will make another material. That is, I make a physical material, I double click on it, and roughness 1 again. Send it by mail, please, no problems. Also, why you're not able to upload it on the drive? Wait a second. Share. So this is the folder. Try first by going correctly to the folder and let me know if you can before sending it by mail. I was saying this. For neon, you make a physical material, and in here there is one incredible parameter that we need to enable. That is called emission. Emission basically makes object glowing. So I will drag and drop this material to the text, and I will start increasing the number that is emission. In my viewport, I won't see anything spectacular. What I have to do instead, I have to render my view. So I will click render, and this is what happens. So I have no other lights, by the way. So this object is making light. As you can see, it is so bright that the entire scene has become this is too strong. So in my material, where I have emission, I can change a couple of things, and mainly luminance is the value of this light, so how bright it is. And let's say I will change it to 50 or 150. And also here where I see the color is where I can change the color. But if you see, emission has also the possibility to use a map, and I will show you in a second. But first of all, look, let's say you want to make it purple like this. So you have a color for emission, a parameter for luminance. Unfortunately, you have just to make a few tries by rendering. This starts to be fine. So what is my other problem? My other problem is that, as you may see, even if I have placed any other light, in here there is a weird shadow. So what you have to do is, even if you don't need it, you need to create a free light to tell 3ds Max that you don't want to use this kind of fake default sunlight. I can just place a light somewhere, but there has to be a light source. I can even set, if I want to make like something very dark, I can even turn this light basically off by decreasing its intensity to 0. Then I render again, and you will see that everything is dark except for my beautiful neon sign that glows. And yes, I have clicked generate mapping chords because I wanted to put a material. If you don't do that simple step and you apply a material and that material requires a UVW map, then each time that you render, 3ds Max will say the object called line 1 requires UVW. So, or you check that simple box that says generate mapping chords, or you have to apply afterward UVW map. But you can also give a texture to this color. So let me show you last example. See this. Rainbow gradient. Okay, let's say I use this picture, this one, and I save this picture. I save it into my texture folder. Texture. Here. Okay, and I call it rainbow. Now, what I do is I go again to my material editor and I drag and drop that picture inside my material editor. So I go to textures and I drag and drop this. What I want to do now is I want to use this in two different places. So, and look at this trick because this will be fantastic. I want to use same map for the color itself of the object as well as for color of light. But I don't want to use two different maps. I want to use same exact map for two parameters that are the base color and the emission map, the emission color map. So what I will do is I link this with the base color and I link this with emission color map. So same picture rules two parameters. Okay, I will select to show me the preview of this picture and I can see this weird result. That is because my texture is small right now. I have all these repetitions. So I double click the texture. Let's say I make it I don't know how big it is. Probably it is 250 by 200. Woohoo! Look at that! So now, by using a color with a picture, when I render, I will have that even the color of my emission follows the colors that I have in that phenomenal picture. Okay? Is it clear what I've done? Fantastic, I know. Then for Simran, the answer is no. If you drag and drop the material from the library in your material editor and you change it, you change that material in your file only, but it won't affect the original material into the library. Then let's see another question. So Vanessa says the file is there. Let's see. Final project. Render 1. Okay. Wow, that is dark. So, why this is happening? This is happening for multiple reasons. There are, let me see. Oh my gosh, that is really dark. Even if I change the monitor, let me see. Okay, first of all, question 1 for Vanessa. Question 1 is, which rendering are you using? Yes, wait a second. Answer to all these questions. Which render engine are you using for this? For these, let's open it again. Oh, by mistake I closed it. Wait a second. Okay, let's go back in there. Art renderer. Perfect. So, do you mind uploading your max file instead? And I will show you better what to do. That would be faster. Okay, because I probably know what may be the problem. But if we open your max file directly, if it doesn't take forever, and I will solve it in a second. So in the meantime, so please upload. Thank you so much. Upload your max file. Then let's see another question. Nicole asks, if I place lights behind the wall and I enclose that wall around light, will it be able to show marble texture if it was backlit? Absolutely not. No. Nope. I understand what you want to do. So you are saying this. Let's pretend that in this wall I have a certain texture. And what if, I mean, you are asking, if I place the light inside this wall, will this wall glow? Is this the question, Nicole? Let me know. Nicole, we are all waiting for you. Is this the question? So if you... Yes, and walls are... no, absolutely not. If you place an object inside, if you place a light inside an object in 3ds Max, nope. No, the wall won't glow at all. Instead, you will simply lock light inside the box and the light won't go anywhere else. So if you want to make glowing marble, that is... And glowing marble is something that in reality I've never seen in my life, but maybe I'm wrong. But if you want to obtain the effect of glowing marble, believe it or not, you have to follow exactly same steps that we have made for neon lights. So the only difference will be that emission. So let's go to marble texture. Emission must be very, very low as value. Seamless. Okay. Let's say this one. Is this seamless? No. Pinterest. Seamless. Let's see. Save this picture. Marble. Then go to 3ds Max. Go to 3ds Max, desktop, no, and textures, marble. Okay, so let's make marble, and basically I have to drag and drop marble inside my material editor. I will make my physical material and I will link this to the base color. I double click. Now this is obviously too small. The image is rectangular, so I will try by making it like 100 by 80 centimeters. I turn on the preview and I will give these to one wall only just to see the difference. So I will put this material here. So till here I have just made a quick marble material that actually is not even that seamless as said into the Google, but it's okay. So for now, let's just delete our neon sign. And let's say till now, even if I have this kind of light, with a very low, let's say 400 lumens. So I render and it should look very dark, like that. Okay, nothing spectacular. But if you want your, let's place it at least inside here. So if I render here, nothing spectacular, just dark. Okay, if you want to have your marble to look like translucent, you have simply to go to your marble material, double click into parameters and increase a little bit the emission parameter. Not place it till 1, because if you put this value to 1, basically your material will look like a light source. But just try having small adjustments of emission, then, and you have unfortunately to render. Can you see the just by placing it 0.03, but with the luminance 1500, that has become already too much bright. So I should instead make it, I don't know, 50 and 0.03, then render again and find, exactly, now it's too low, but I have to find right balance between these two values. So I can make it 0.1, 100, and render till I find, what is that? Can you see now the marble is going to look brighter than other objects? And also, if now I can also remove this light, but not removing, I will make the intensity 0 and I render, I will see that the only element of my rendering that is emitting that kind of glowing atmosphere is my marble wall. Okay, if you also use maybe a better looking picture than this, let's find a more beautiful, let's see, let's try this one. It says seamless, let's see. So save picture, seamless marble, let's say. So I will just change my marble texture with this one, and I will apply it to the base color, and as I did before, I will also apply it to the emission color map. Perfect. Then I render. I don't know why it's going like this. Perfect. And whoa. Okay. I don't know why it's going. What am I touching? There is. Okay. So the only thing that I don't understand is why I can't see my marble and why 3ds Max is going like this. But I will fix it in a second. So let's go to material. Select it and select the preview first. So let me see if the preview works. Sorry, I forgot to change the size of this map. This is my bad. So let's make it like 200 by 200. Oh, sorry. This is why it wasn't looking like marble. Then I render. And it will be like that. Okay? So you change time by, you change the combination between emission and luminance. Then I will just restart 3ds Max. You render, and your marble will glow. Okay? For Nicole? In the meantime that Nicole says yes, I will close 3ds Max because it was flickering and I don't know why, and I don't like it. And in the meantime, let's go to download these other files so that we can see if we can find some. This one. Download. Save. Perfect. And let's see if we can find interesting ways to solve problems so that the problems that your classmate has may be problems that all of you can have. So let's open this file. Okay, while it is loading also, I just wanted to remind you a very quick thing that is, as I said, you have time till next Monday to upload your final. But just to be sure, and then don't ask me, when I will give you your marks and so on and files. Okay. Remember, I will delete all of your files from my... Whoa! This is a list of missing textures. Great! Okay, so I was saying, I will delete all of your files from my Google Drive. I won't keep any of them, so be so nice to create your own backup copies, because I won't collect any of these. Like all of your files that you send me by mail, boom, I delete them. And all of your files that you will place into the Google Drive, I will delete them. So just remind this. And we were talking about spotlights here. So let's see. Your classmate has these spotlights to illuminate the entrance. So let me see if I can understand what is going on here. So we have a spotlight. Perfect. That is not inside the step. And spotlight itself is with a very narrow fall off, but that is fine. Okay, then let's see parameters of the spotlight itself. First of all, problem 1, shadows. Shadows advanced ray traced is wrong. It won't work. It has to be ray traced for all of your lights, all of them. So now, hoping that they were instances, phew, they are. Okay, so problem 1, shadow must be always ray traced, nothing else, for all of your lights. So, what is this? Ray traced. Okay. Okay, so let's go back to these spotlights. And let's see another thing. Cone visible, no. 3000 lumens. Emitter disk, that's fine. Okay, let's see something more. Let's go to rendering, exposure control. And see, these, I knew that was these, and this is why I asked your classmate to send me the file. No, see this, and this is a problem that maybe all of you may have. So the question that I will do to your classmate is this: did you place natural light somewhere, and then you have deleted your sun positioner? Let me see the answer, because the answer should be Should I repeat the question? That is, did you place sun positioner and then delete it? First of all, let's find it, because I can't see it. I can see it. So also what you can do is, because I've closed it, you can go to Scene Explorer and you can see if there is sun positioner. It is here. Let's see what it is. Where? Ooh, okay, there is sun positioner. No, it is there. It was just 300 light years far from it. So check this. You have your sun positioner, you have your hour of the day, let's say 6 p.m. That's fine, but this is a room. There is a room where, as you said, there is no actual sunlight coming in. So for this room, what you have to do is, don't mind how strong your lights are. What you have to do instead is, you have to go to rendering, exposure control, and this number that you see 14, because this is an inside room. So, and you said basically there's no natural light. It doesn't matter. Okay, I know that there are no maps. And all these objects require UVW map. Oh, whoa. Okay. So, this entrance will remain dark. Doesn't matter how how many lights you put. The only thing you have to do is you have to decrease the exposure value. Okay, and you will see the preview. Also with this exposure, it is not wrong at all to give intensity to your... This is not the entrance. Is this the entrance? Camera 7. Is this one? This is the picture you sent me. This one. Is it true? Is this? Is this the camera or not? Yes. Is it camera 7 or not? Hurry up! In the meantime, let's place lumens 10,000. Let's try. So let's go back to rendering, exposure control, render preview. I will have 3 billion errors because of missing textures and missing UVW map. Oh, look at that! It works just by decreasing the exposure value, and maybe look, I'm making like 40,000 lumens, but now they would be probably too much. I should have made another. Now this is even too much. But now you have, of course, I have no materials, but you have your spotlights that are illuminating the ceiling from below. Okay? Does it work? Is this the effect beside materials? But now, can you see that this is perfectly visible? Let's stop it. Okay. Just render the preview. Close. But they should light steel rails also, no? And they are doing it. I mean, they are illuminating these elements. The small beam on the rail, it is not appearing because you have made a very large disk. So if you just want to see that, first of all, make this as a point without the disk, so that it will be a lot sharper as a light. Okay, and go again, rendering, exposure control, render preview, close. Simram, wait a second, then I will answer to your question. Okay, so by making these as points, you will see that if they are correctly placed, and then remember, you are trying to see a beam of light on a round object that will be very, very barely visible. Then if you render, and I have removed the fact that they are disk and I just made them as points, where they are correctly placed, like over here, can you see that now you see that beam of light on those round poles here? I mean, it is a little bit grainy, but can you see here? Just by make them as points instead of this, because the disk will diffuse the light. Okay? While if you want to show that very sharp beam of light, just leave them as points. Perfect! Problem solved. So, let's answer to the question that instead Simran asked, that is extremely important to be known. That is this. Look, I will make a new file so that I don't deal with this, all of these, and reset. Missing textures, I mean, just make a new file. Sorry. So, see this. If I make a project, upper lights, wait a second. Let's answer to Simran a second. What I want to show you is this. Look, if I make a sun, a scene where I place sun positioner in general, no? When I create sun positioner, what I create is not only a single light source. It's not like a gigantic spotlight and that's it. When I create sun positioner, I also add the environment light to my project. And you can see this. Look, if I go to rendering, exposure control, now that I have placed a sun positioner, where you see here background, you can see that there is something called sun and sky environment. Okay? So why this is important? Look, let's see a very common issue. I will make my exposure value 14, and my rendering will look great because it will be like an exterior rendering with the sunlight, and I will also see the sky. I mean, it will look fantastic. Okay? So where is the problem? The problem is when I choose that I don't want anymore my sunlight because I just want to use artificial light sources. So what everyone used to do commonly is they just select sun positioner, they hit delete. Okay? And see this. I have deleted sunlight, but as you may notice, in my background I still have what is called sun and sky environment. So even if I render now that I have no lights, technically, there is something weird. That is, I still have my sunny sky and I still have light into my project. I have not those direct shadows. I have a uniform, I have like a diffuse light that is given by this element, because the light projected by the sun is the combination between sun direct light and background diffuse light. So just to know, and it is extremely important, if you create sun positioner and then you change your mind and you want to delete it, you have to delete two things. One is you have to delete sun positioner itself, but second, you go to rendering, exposure control, and you need also to delete the background by right clicking on this map and by clicking clear. By doing this, you have correctly removed the sun, and let's say I place just one artificial light. I decrease the exposure to 6, that is for, let's say, artificial lights only, and now maybe 6 is even too low. Let's put it, let's try now, because my object is probably small, exactly. But now I am in artificial light situations. Okay? So this is a possible mistake that I was looking for inside Vanessa file, but in general, when you want to delete your sun positioner, you have to delete two things: sun positioner itself and the environment map that is automatically created when you place it. Is it clear? And this is to answer the question that Simran asked. Let me see if it was clear. And in the meantime, perfect. Let's open again. Let's open again. Nice file. Don't save. Now again, 3000 error messages. Remove them all. Okay. So first of all, can you please my upper lights? So these are lower lights, and we said, just to fix them again, they must be ray traced, they must be very bright, 50, they must be points because you want to see only that beam of light, and this is first. Second, we said we have to go to exposure control just to fix it again as it was before, and it was about 9. Okay, the view camera number 2, let's explore it. Camera number 2 is this one. That's fantastic. So these are your downlights. Okay, let's see. Okay, so we have this spotlight, there is a free light. Let's see. Shadows, area shadows. No, no, no! This must be ray traced. Nothing else. Then, let's see. Exposure control. Render preview. All of these objects require UVW map. Continue. Okay. Now, here, there is probably a window. So 9 is a little bit too much. But because there is a window, when I fix the exposure here, 11, what I do is basically like taking a picture daylight with a lamp turned on. I will never see a lamp with the exposure for daylight. But if I want to obtain a rendering where I see both kind of lights, there is nothing wrong. That is, you correctly set overall exposure. I just make it a little bit darker than it should be, and then hoping that all these spotlights are instances, what I will do is I will simply go to intensity and I will set the intensity to a value that looks weird, but let's try 50,000 lumens. Press enter. I can already see that this is the masterpiece. I render the preview. Let's see. Okay. Starts by being better. I can even make it more. 100,000 lumens. Render the preview. And in this way, even if it looks weird, but in this way, I will have artificial lights visible even if my exposure is set for daylight. Click close. Make it a little bit like that. Then, are these spotlights instances, or because I'm fixing this one, then they are not. No! What a disaster. So, this has been fixed, and these are not. So you have made a group for... Wow, what a mess. No, they are not. Look. Nope. They are not. So can you see that? Let's fix this. We said 100,000 ray traced. Okay. Let's see now this. Okay, now I've got the one that was instance. Finally. Perfect. And you can see now all these beams of light in combination with so I go back to render exposure control, render preview. And now that I fixed all of your spotlights, don't show these. Let's see if it is fine. Yes. And now more or less like this. When I will render, it's a little bit heavy, so don't mind if my video will lag a little bit. But now I can correctly see that I have light from outside, and I also have visible beams of light given by my spotlights. Okay? Yes, these numbers are fake for a simple reason. There is, I don't know if I can correctly explain, but basically it happens this. Now you are trying to obtain something that is fake as well. That is, you want light from outside daytime. So, just to answer your last question, look, you are trying to obtain light from the outside daytime, plus you want to see visible effect of artificial light. And in real life, these two things will never come together. What it means? It means that if you try to open a window and you have a lot of light coming from the window, and if you're in that room, if you turn on and off the light, the exposure of your eyes is so high because there is a lot of light from the sun that if you turn on and off your artificial light, it looks like that light is not doing anything. And this is how it works in reality. But what happens when is the moment of the day when you turn on artificial light? You turn on lights when daylight is over. So, or there is sunlight or there is artificial light. In this case, we want to obtain a rendering that is just to make it prettier, so it is a little bit fake, having at the same time visible daylight and visible spotlights. It just looks fine. It just looks fine in renderings, but to be 100% realistic, it is a little bit fake. So, and I hope this was clear as an explanation. So let's see what Simran asks. When doing an exterior render, how do you show environment background? Grass. Oh, grass. No, grass. No. We'll see. So, first, Simran, when doing exterior render, how do you show environment background? I've seen that you have to use some weird image which look circular. They are not weird. They are beautiful, equi-rectangular images. They are not weird. Okay, that is more complex than you think, because there are several ways to think about the environment background. There are more technical, less technical way. I don't know from where to start, but I will try to explain it so long that then I won't have enough time to explain how to make the grass. Let's try. So, let's see background. So, let's make a new file. Don't save. Reset. Don't save. Okay. So that we start from scratch. So, let's see this. I have a project, and let's say yes, fluffy rug is basically fluffy rug is like grass. it is the same. So now that there are too many, I have to explain it. But let me show you first how to solve the problem for the background. Oh, there is a mosquito. How annoying it. Mosquito, I hate you. Okay, so let's see this. First, quickly, the background. Let's say I have this project. And this is my exterior. Now there are multiple things I can do. Let's say I add sun positioner, because it is an exterior, so it's easy. Okay, and I render. I have to change the exposure control, make it to 14.5, render again, boom, it looks fantastic, with clearly visible problems. There are, this object is lost somewhere. I have this kind of infinite ground plane that is gray, and above the horizon there is the sky. Okay, till here I will say nothing wrong. So where's the problem? The problem is that it is sad and ugly. I can make other things to avoid these. I can maybe zoom in more, not too much, and I could try to make renderings more like these and avoid wasting space. But yes, having the background in this way is a little bit fake. So there are a gazillion ways to solve this problem. I want to show you one way that involves Photoshop, but one way that won't give you any problem, any headaches, any kind of additional issues, or setting 3ds Max here and there, and so on and so on. So the way that I'm showing you is something that will work all the times. Okay, that is this one. Look, now I have to go Google. I have to download what you call weird images that are called equirectangular 360 images. There are those weird looking images. In reality, what these kind of images are nothing else than a sphere that has been unfolded, unwrapped into a rectangle. Oh, look at that, there is Florence. Let's see if I can open this one. Or this one. No, this has this. So, believe it or not, have you ever seen this image? Before saying that they are weird, have you ever seen this picture here in your life? One picture like this. Believe it or not, this is a deformed picture, because in reality our world is spherical. So this kind of flat map is the projection of the spherical world in a flat equirectangular map. And I don't know if you ever asked to yourself, for example, I mean, this is just to give you 3 seconds. Have you ever seen when you go to the airport and there is such a map, and then have you ever seen the route that airplanes used to do? You see, for example, a flight from New York to Rome, and you see that the path is this. It is curvy. When I was young, I used to think, when I was a kid, I used to think how stupid it is. Why doesn't the pilot, why it just don't go straight? It will save a lot of a lot of space. In reality, not. In reality, it's because the world is spherical, so there is a line, but it is projected on the sphere and unfolded into a rectangle. Anyway, so you have to download these images. Let's use the Florence one. That's fine. It's a little lax in quality, but it's okay. So I will save this picture and I will save it in my texture. But I will also save this one. Save picture, just because it is a little bit bigger in terms of resolution. So, better way, easier way to start working with backgrounds would be this. Look, you make your rendering and you make a rendering with your sun positioner. Till here, no problems. Then you save this render in your, let's still use texture, and you call this, look, view, just to remember, without background. And when you will save this image, you will save it in a very specific format. That is, you save it as a TIFF image, TIF. When you click save, this is extremely important, you need to use the option called Store Alpha Channel, and I will show you why. And you click OK. Then you have to make something very simple. That is, you go to rendering, you go to exposure control, and here where you see the sky, what you have to do is you click here with the left button. You choose that instead of this one, you want a bitmap, and you click OK. Then you have to go to the texture where you have placed your file, that is texture, and you will use, let's say, this picture here, the one with Florence, and you click open. Okay? So now let's see how our rendering will be, and I will render same exact view. Better is if you use with a camera. So I click render. Now it is super dark because my bitmap is not projecting light. So this is why you need Photoshop, because what you have to do is you have to basically attach two pictures together. What you have to do is you have to go again on your environment and effect, uncheck process the background, and let's see if this will help. Exactly. And this will give you this weird looking render. Look. No, that's too weird. Why is not? Let's disable it, or let's remove active, probably. Let's be faster. Exactly. So now we have these render here. There is the one with the background and with just wrong light. So I will save these, and I will save with the same format, but I will call this view with background, and I will quickly combine these two pictures in Photoshop. And even if, I mean, I would be happy just like that. But with Photoshop, I will combine the one with light, without background. No, why? I have to sign in, and everyone remembers. No, this is a disaster. Wait a second. One second. Okay. They send me a code. I mean, I'm just opening Photoshop. Okay, password. Hola. Okay, great. So, let's see this. I open these two pictures into Photoshop. Not this one, just these two. These and that. Okay, this has correctly displayed shadows and so on. This has just the background that is fine. So what I will do is, you remember that I have selected store alpha channel. The alpha channel is basically a quick way to cut your image. So look, I just go to channel, I click alpha, and then I click these. So I quickly select my visible part, and I immediately cut whatever is the background. So I go to layers, double click, and turn my selection into a mask. Then I go here, I set Control A, that is select all, Control C, that is copy. Go to my correct file, Control V to paste it, but I have to place the background below my layer, so I drag the layer down here. Boom! And now I have my correctly correctly made render with shadows and so on and so on, with the background that I have downloaded from these weird looking images. Okay, this is a way that involves another software, but this is a way that will always work. No matter, even if you are making a rendering inside and you want to display what happens outside Windows, this method will always work by making two renders. One without the background, one with the background without exposure control. You combine, boom, and you will have masterpieces. Okay? Yes? No? Maybe? Because now, believe it or not, it will be time for the grass. And it will shock you. So, let's make a new one. So, reset. Okay, let's see grass. What is great? What is phenomenal about grass is that to make grass as well as a fluffy rug, it is not at all matter of using materials, but you have to do something completely different and a little bit complex. That is, you have to use a compound object called scatter. So, say this. There are multiple ways you could use a modifier called hair and fur, and I suggest not to use it. While, check this, and you have to do it exactly what I'm doing now. Look, you have to make first extremely, I mean unbelievably, small lines. There must be like not even 1 millimeter long, and you place them like in a circular area, or like inside a non-visible small square, and you draw all these small lines, and take care they must be drawn on the top view. Okay? For example, this is too long, but it's okay. What you have to do then is you select, let's say, one that is more or less in the middle. You go to the Modify tab. These are all lines. You can attach them together, and you click Attach, and with a bit of patience, you start attaching all these small lines together so that they become one object only. Take care, I'm using a touch. I'm not using group or anything else. I've used a touch. Okay? Then what you have to do is you select these. You have to click. I know it looks wrong, but trust me. You have to use extrude, and you need to give height to these lines, and they will look like that right now. I want to show you edged faces because before closing extrude, you need also to increase segments in our extrusion, at least 8 segments along the extrusion. Okay? The extrusion is 0.5 centimeter, that this would be like if you're making a rug. It can be a little bit more, like 4-5 centimeters if you want to make grass. Okay? But let's say 2 centimeters. Okay? Till here? Then see the magic. Then you have to make another object that is going to be a plane, and this will have, let's say, dimensions of your rug. Or if you're making a garden, and the garden has a freeform shape, you start from a plane, you turn it into a like you add edit poly, for example, and you give your plane, take care, plane, not box or sphere, it has to be a surface only, and you give the shape of the area that you want to cover with grass. That's the same. But then you have to do this. You select these weird looking object, the one with all these extruded lines. You go to create compound objects, and you use a compound object that is called, that is here, is called scatter. Okay? When you select scatter, you have to change a couple of things. There are. You have to click pick distribution objects, so where duplicates of this extruded thing will be. So you click pick distribution object and you pick your plane. And you will see at the very beginning that your object has been moved on that plane. This is not enough, because what we have to do now is we go down below here in the menu of our scatter, and we start by changing the parameter that is duplicates. We don't need one repetition of our original object, so I will start increasing this number. And you will see a lot of random, and I will also turn off edged faces, and you will see a lot of duplicates of my object on that plane. Okay? Now they are not enough. This number easily can be like 20,000, 60,000. I mean, I just want to avoid having my computer to freeze while I'm streaming. So just to show you how it works, I will stop at 2,000, let's say 3,000. Okay. You can see that everything looks too precise because we have exactly same duplicates of our flat strands. So I will start by increasing below duplicates this parameter called vertex chaos, and I will do this a little bit, nothing crazy. This is not heavy for render at all. Then, because this is fine, for example, if you are making a rug and the rug has all elements at same exact height, but then if you want to make a more realistic looking grass, you keep going down in the menu of your scatter, you open the transform, and you will just use Z transformations. So you randomly rotate these shapes along their Z. You don't touch translation, and you can also scale them randomly on the Z, so that some of these will go higher, some of them will go lower. And you start by having, this kind of result. If you want to make them thinner, you can scale instead X and Y. So let's say 20, 20. Okay. And now what I will do is I go to display, and I also check the option called hide distribution object. So that now I have the possibility to I have the grass and I have my original plane that are independent. Why this is important? Because, for example, I will just, without making anything weird, I will just make two physical materials. I will make one material matte, so roughness 1. I will make it green. And I will make another material. Now I will make it just brown, okay? But you can also find a texture of rocks or stuff like that. But by doing this trick, I can give my plane a brown, my plane here, and my scatter I will give my green material. So I'm not using any texture, anything. I will add a light to show you a better result. Let's go to rendering, exposure control. Let's check it. This is too much. Perfect. And look, I render. And by using this technique, boom, the grass is done. And it is not heavy at all by making this way. The only thing that you have to do is only you have to make in your render. Look, the render is done. You have just to make more repetitions. Rather than 3000, it would be better like, I don't know, 30,000 or yes. So that would be a lot more dense. You render and you have your unbelievable and realistic looking grass. Okay? Yes? No? Oops. If you, wait a second, because unfortunately making these things and streaming, I mean, mine crashed, but yours, shouldn't, because I'm just streaming and I'm using the graphic card to stream. I just wanted to tell you. Oh, let's go here. Let's go there. 3ds Max. 3ds Max. Let's see if I have a backup copy of that file. Open libraries, documents, 3ds Max, auto backup. Yes, I have. Perfect. Just one side note, that is, if I make my grass and I want it, as I said, for grass, I just make a physical material and I have to make it just a green material, because then the shadow itself of light will give me that root that would be darker and the tip that would be lighter. But if I want to make with the same technique, if I want to make a rug, what I have to do instead is this. First of all, I have to open my operands, I have to open my source, and I have to make the extrude a lot less, like 0.5. Okay? So till here, the grass and the rug are the exact same thing. The only thing that changes is that the rug has a very, very small height. Then I will make more duplicates. Let's try 6,000 without freezing my viewport. So which is the difference between grass and rug? If you want to make a rug with just one color, that would be the same. Make a physical material instead of green, you change the color, that's it. But if you have a rug with a certain texture, like or rug texture images, Okay, let's say you have, I mean, there's nothing better. Texture, seamless. Okay, let's say you want, oh my, they are terrible. There is not even one that I like, honestly. Let's write carpet. Even worse. But it's okay. Let's say we want this texture, but it has no. Just write like that. Okay, that's better. Let's say we want this kind of texture. Very nice. So I save this picture. And I want to apply this on my beautiful object. So what I should do will be this. Look, in 3ds Max, as usual, I go to my material editor and I have to open my texture folder where I saved my picture. So I open 3ds Max, I press M for material editor, I make a physical material, I drag and drop this picture and I attach it to my base color map. Till here, nothing new. What is interesting is what I have to do now. That is, I have to select my scatter. I will apply, first of all, I should remember dimensions, and luckily I still have the plane, so I can see the dimensions are 56, let's say, by 35. So let's hide this one. So in my scatter, I have to apply UVW map in a very specific way. That is, I have to apply UVW map and I need to keep it as planar because I want my texture to be applied just from the top. So I UV planar. I hope that the axis is Z, exactly, so that it will be vertical. Then I go back to my material and I change size of my material 56, 35, so that it will match the plane. And I also add my preview button. I apply this to my scanner. So it is instead 35 by 56, probably. No, okay. So it is correct, but I have to move the UVW map. So in my UVW map, I will simply open the gizmo and I will move my texture to center it. It's a little bit heavy. Perfect. Okay. And here. Okay. And let me scale it here so that it would be easier. Perfect. And I have my flat texture applied on my fluffy rug so that lovely. Let me save this file as fast as I can, and if I render, I place a light. Okay. Let me see my render exposure control. Let's see if it is fine. because my graphic card is saying, Marco, please stop. Okay, it's fine. So this is how to make a fluffy rug. You make scatter just with a smaller height. You render. If it freezes, I'm so sorry, but it should be a masterpiece. And yeah, it's going to freeze just. Vanessa, 100% correct. When you are done, you have to upload on the drive. I will consider only projects uploaded into the drive, so that class by class I have a list of uploaded files, and I don't have to become crazy checking email twice, then messages, then deleted messages, archived messages, spam messages. Absolutely not. Don't use my email to send me any kind of file. Absolutely not. Oh, look at my rug. That is fantastic. And if I zoom out, because this would be like a more realistic point of view, let's say I have the ground and so on and so on. Just PDF, absolutely not 3ds Max files, because 3ds Max files can be huge, it can be very heavy. So only the PDF presentation. Yes. So let's go to the meantime flooring, Beechwood. Let's try this combination just to have a more realistic scene. I render. I want, probably it's a little bit too bright, but in the meantime, I mean, last question, the thing you always wanted to know in 3ds Max, I mean, ask me now or never. Look at that. When it is also placed into a scene with a floor, with a, I mean, that is unbelievable. This is a masterpiece of a rug. I will save it. Save as rug masterpiece. It is phenomenal. Other problems, questions, things that you want to ask me? I mean, really? Just show us the coolest thing you know. The coolest thing I know. Of course, 3ds Max speaking. The coolest thing I know. The coolest. I mean, I can show you. I will show you this. Look, just to have fun. Thing number one, if you make an object that has enough segments, let's say you make a box, and in your box you add enough segments, you can use two beautiful modifiers. For example, one is called twist. To twist it, as the name says. Another one is called bend. And you can bend your object. And you can change the direction. You can change the axis. Okay, for example. So that if you make a box like this, but again, it needs to have enough segments or this trick won't work. I mean, it's not a trick, it is just a tool. For example, you can make bend, and now I can use Y axis and it will bend like this. Okay. And what is interesting is that that bend can be used multiple times. So you can use bend to bend Y. You can use again bend to bend the X axis, like this. Or you can change direction to 90 degrees. Or the Z, and you can bend your box, and believe it or not, from a box you can create this complex object. Okay? So when you review files, you delete them. For grades and things, then you have to wait for September, because then I will review these during the summer. This is something that takes a lot of time. And then you need to ask when the school will start again to Lady for your grades. Because this was something that will take a long time. I have to review all of your midterm exams, homeworks, and the final. So it's something that will take forever. But wait, because your classmate clearly said, show me the coolest thing you know. So beside these, that is cool enough, I know something called also FFD that you can apply. You can open control points, and then you can drag these points like that. Like these, okay? You can basically deform your object as you please. Or if you want more control point, you can use FFD, let's say 333, and you click the triangle, control points, and you can click these. Okay. But if you really want to see coolest thing that I know, then is this. You make something that looks fine, that looks cool. You right click, you convert it to editable poly. Then I know you have not these toolbar, but this is called mass effects. You can right click in an empty spot of your toolbar and you can check mass effects toolbar. You select your object, you click this ball that looks like a ball that is falling down, and next to your object you will see this kind of weird grid. Then you shift and move, and you make lot of copies or instances of your object, and now you have, look, all of these. Look how many I have. Okay? Ready for this? You click this Mass Effects button that looks like a playback, and this is what you're going to see. Fantastic! And is too cool to be true, isn't it? Oh, how beautiful and relaxing is that? In general, I do this really when I'm just bored. I change the color of all my objects in like in a rainbow looking thing. There is something pretty complex to do. No, I won't show you. That's too much. But this is one of the coolest thing that I know. 3ds Max. That is actually sometimes useful when you want to. I know that's crazy, isn't it? It is interesting when you want to show things that are randomly placed into gardens, organic shapes. Like if you, instead of making this weird looking thing, if you use rocks or other organic elements, they look more realistically if instead of placing and moving objects. Okay, so don't waste your time. Use this week to upload your final so that I will be able to start reviewing whatever you have made from the beginning of the semester. Also, as I said, this will take a lot of time, so don't bother me with emails like after 1 hour. Marco, where is my grade? Because this will take a long time. I have also to try, now that things are reopening, to go back to school, copy all of your previous homeworks and check the progress that you have made. I mean, it is a process that takes a little bit of time. Okay? Perfect. And this finishes this beautiful class. I hope I solved most of your doubts. So now, let me close 3ds Max first. So now I have to close this live stream because I have another class. And as usual, have fun, but not too much. You're welcome. Thank you too. Of course, we will see next semester if you have another semester, and next semester we have a great time too. We will just see other softwares, but it will be unbelievable as usual. So, bye everyone. Have a lot of fun. Bye. Ciao.